What a lovely evening to be out. Just finished work and I've come down to this bit of ground to have a look round, see if I can find a fallow. Now the fallow season for the does at least is coming to an end, and it's predominantly does that are on this bit of ground, so I thought I'd come down just have a little look round and see if I can knock over one or two more before the doe season finishes. Now I've got with me the 243, it's the Mauser M12. I've got this rifle with me, lovely little stalking rifle, this nice and lightweight and very handleable, nice and pointable and that, nicely balanced. With that I've got the Element Helix HDLR set on the top there, and you'll notice I've got a PARD 007 on the back there, and that's purely just so I can get some footage through the scope if I bump into anything. So without further ado, let's go have a little wander around, see what we can find. So I've just walked up to this field, and there were several deer out feeding this field. I could see them through the hedge, but the trouble is, to get to this field there's only one way into it, and that's from that direction, the way I just walked, and the wind is blowing that way straight towards them. So I couldn't odds it, I had to come in this way, and the only place to get a safe shot is from the high sea just here. Anyway, I'm going to get in the high sea, give it half hour or so and just see if anything else comes out. I literally just got in the high sea there, and probably a dozen fallow just went straight across the field in front of me, about 170 yards out. But yeah, they just didn't stand still long enough to get a shot, which is unfortunate, but it's good to see there's a few about though, so hopefully we'll get something else come out at some point soon. Alright, so I've got a load of deer stood in this wood just behind me, about 170 metres away at the minute. I'm hoping they're going to come out and field behind me and I'll be able to swing round in the seat and get a shot. We'll see. Right, we're going to be losing the light very soon. Now, a few of the deer that are up in the wood there have made a sort of a kind of a break for it. They've sort of wandered out of the wood and then gone down along the tree line at the opposite end of the next field. So I think probably the rest of the group is going to eventually follow suit, but they probably won't do that until it's too dark to shoot. So I think I'm going to cut my losses a little bit and start making my way back down across this field and also back to the truck, and just see if I pick up anything either from this group or further down from one of the other fields. So we'll see what happens. Well, typically those deer, there was half a dozen deer just in the wood there, not more than about 40-50 yards from me. I could see them in there with a thermal, but it was too dark to get a shot into the woods, and then now it's probably coming dark, and the deer left it right until the last minute before they broke cover and went out across this field. As I say, I could have got a shot, but it was just that wee bit too dark, so let's just let them go. They'll be there another day. Well, now, traditionally, the 1st of April has always been the start of the lambing season, or at least it has locally. And tonight, I'm out on a little small holding which is owned by a friend of mine, and I always do the foxing for him once or twice a year. I'll come down purely just before lambing time, just to thin the foxes out. It's an awkward bit of ground, so I don't sort of generally sort of come here any other time of the year, but if I just come here for a couple of 2 or 3 visits, just as I say, a week or so before he starts lambing, then I can usually harvest quite a few foxes and sort of nip any potential problems in the bud. As I say, it is an awkward bit of ground to shoot, so this evening I brought with me my little 223 ticker T3 in 223. I've got on that the TH50 from Infrared, TH50 V2 thermal scope. Now I would rather like to be using the Notpix S60, which I've just got hold of, but that's sat on my 260 rifle, and I just haven't had a chance to take it off and do another profile and zero etc on this rifle, so I'm using the older but still a very good unit, the TH50 V2. Yeah, and also I would very often use the 243 when I'm out foxing, just as a little bit more punch and a little bit more range, but on this bit of ground shots are rarely more than 100 yards, and just for that little additional added safety I like to just kind of scale down the calibre. Anyway, we'll have a little wander around and see what's on the ground this year. So I've just bowled one over there, only about probably 70 or 80 yards, but there's another fox further up the field, so I'm just going to see if I can move around these trees a little bit and get a clearer shot. Well, that one was just out in the field shouting, probably shouting for his mate, and he was just sat there. I could see him like shouting, and just put one straight in the chest, and yeah, just straight over. Suddenly found himself 53 grains heavier, and that was his lot. Lights out. That's a great start. That's 2 down within about, I don't know, 20 minutes, half hour of getting there, so yeah, that's ideal. So surprisingly they were both vixens. I was expecting one of them to have been a dog, but you can see one's had cubs and this one hasn't. They both got quite dark underbellies, which seems to be quite common on this farm. I don't know if that's maybe just something to do with the bloodline down here, characteristic, I don't know, but do seem to get some quite dark foxes on this ground. I'll leave them there by the gate here, and that way the farmer will find them in the morning and he deals them here. He likes to see what I get, and we'll have a look up the top of this field and see if there's anything about up there. Well, this is an area that never fails to produce a fox, or at least it hasn't done for the last few years. So I can stand just next to this this bush here, and it gives me a little bit of cover. I've got some tall trees and that just behind me there, and just in front of me the ground drops away to a little stream and then rises again the other side. But it's a good spot because it gives me a nice safe place to shoot, and foxes invariably seem to want to come up and down the stream as like a little highway almost. So by standing here, putting the cooler out just down by the stream there and firing that up, I quite often will pull a fox in from one direction or another. But as I say, invariably every time I do this each year it works, so touch wood, it'll do the same this year. Right, okay, so I've got the Fox Pro cooler here. This one's the Prowler, good little cooler this, and I'm going to go for a favourite cooler of mine, which is Screaming Rabbit cool. So I'll go and grab the cooler, put that out now, and we'll fire it up and see what we can pull in. Okay, so cooler's out. Let's fire this up. Favourites. And we're going to go for a Screaming Rabbit call. Alright. Let's get ready and see what comes out. Well, I don't know where that fox came from, but that just appeared from nowhere. He was just probably only about 45 metres from me, and he just stood there. I don't know where he come from. Must have come from the hedge to the left there, and he's obviously come out and just stood facing actually down towards the stream. The cooler's actually over sort of like this way, a little bit more over to the right, but he was looking sort of straight down, not quite sure where the call's coming from. But as soon as I spotted him, I just muted the cooler, as I always do, keep it in my pocket with my finger. Most of the time I've got my finger on the mute button, and as soon as I see something I'll mute the cooler, which is what I just did there, and then just went straight onto the rifle. Managed to put a shot into the chest, just sort of like quartering away while he was just stood there. So yeah, that was well, this spot just once again just provided, so excellent. Well, that's a big old fox, that one. Big dog fox, this one, bigger than the others. He's done quite well, this one. That's definitely the sort of fox that would cause problems come lambing time, so a good one to knock over. Right, so I'm going to go and have a look over the road now. This bit of ground, it's got a sort of A road that runs through sort of like the front of the farm, but there's a couple of fields just on the opposite side of the road there. So we'll nip over the other side of the road and just have a look, see if there's anything out in them fields. They quite often hold a fox, but we'll see. Might get lucky, might get another one. So as you can see, I'm just the other side of the road now from the farm. There's a couple of fields here, only quite small, but it's sometimes worth just a quick look just to see if there's any foxes poking around on here, because there's a few rabbits on here. But at the moment, I can't see anything out. So I'll probably just give it 5 minutes and then call it a night. Been using the Knockpix Quest thermal binos this evening, and I've got to say I really like these. They're lightweight. I think they're 700 grams or something, so they're pretty basic. They are literally just thermal. They have got a rangefinder on them, but what I like about them is they're just like a normal set of binoculars. So you just got 4 buttons on there, so it's nice and easy to find your way around the menu system. Very, very sharp image on them, and what's nice is they've got the zoom function and the focus wheel both on the bridge here, where you'd find them on a normal pair of binoculars. So yeah, I'm really liking these. Well, I'm going to call it hit for tonight, I think, but 3 foxes down, it's not too bad on first visit. I've seen 1 or 2 others, so I'll have to definitely come back up and have another look. But yeah, it is a school night tonight, so I think I'll call that it. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the episode. As always, don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching.